Hello, friends. This is a story from a well-known author. This story has been adapted from a well-known book. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button to get all of the amazing stories delivered directly to your feed. And if you want to hear more from this collection, tap on the link at the end of the video. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a mighty king. He ruled over a kingdom nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers. Within the high walls of his palace, he lived a life of luxury, attended by servants and swathed in fine garments. His days were filled with royal duties and his nights with feasts and merriment. But despite the opulence that surrounded him, the king felt a nagging emptiness in his heart. He longed for something more, something beyond the confines of his gilded cage. One day, while wandering through the bustling marketplace, he stumbled upon an old woman sitting cross-legged amidst a crowd. Her wrinkled face was serene, and her eyes twinkled with an otherworldly light. Intrigued, the king approached her and introduced himself. "Greetings, old woman," he said, hoping she might offer him some wisdom or perhaps a glimpse into the mysteries of life. "What is the secret to true happiness?" The old woman looked up at the king and smiled mysteriously. "You already possess the answer, young king, but you must seek it outside these walls." Her cryptic response only deepened the king's confusion. "I have everything one could desire here," he exclaimed, gesturing to the palace behind him, "yet I am not content."
Ow.
What more could there be? The old woman's gaze turned distant, as if she were seeing beyond the king's fine clothes and into his very soul. "True happiness, my king, lies not in what you possess, but in what you become. You seek external pleasures when the real treasure lies within." Before the king could question her further, the old woman rose to her feet. "If you truly seek answers," she said, "go beyond the river, past the weeping willow tree. The morning sun first touches the earth. There you will find your path." With a final enigmatic smile, she disappeared into the crowd, leaving the young king pondering her words. He pondered the old woman's advice. The king decided to embark on a journey of self-discovery. He donned the clothes of a commoner, disguising himself as a peasant, and slipped out of the city unnoticed. As he walked along the riverbank, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, he came across the weeping willow tree. Its branches drooped low, their leaves shimmering in the fading light. Beneath the tree, he sat down, and as the first rays of sunlight touched his face, he closed his eyes and listened to the birdsong. In that moment of tranquility, the king had a revelation.
Ow.
He realized that his pursuit of happiness had been misguided. He had mistaken material possessions and fleeting pleasures for true contentment. But now he understood that happiness lay within him, waiting to be discovered. Suddenly the forest came alive with the sound of roaring beasts and the clash of swords. Startled, the disguised king looked around, and what he saw made his heart skip a beat. A fierce battle was raging before him. Two armies clashed, their weapons singing a deadly song as they fought with unwavering determination. Amidst the chaos, the disguised king noticed a lone figure standing atop a nearby hill. Despite the dust and sweat on his face, his bearing was regal, and his eyes seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. It was the old man of the mountain, whom everyone respected and feared. The king knew he had to do something, so he raced toward the battlefield. With a staff raised high, the old man bellowed, "Enough! I have seen enough of this bloodshed." His booming voice echoed through the valley, momentarily silencing the combatants. Turning to the two opposing leaders, he declared, "You both fight valiantly, but why? What purpose does this conflict serve?" The leaders, startled by the old man's sudden appearance, hesitated. Finally, the leader of the first army spoke, his voice hoarse from battle. "We fight for land, for power, and for the glory of our people." The old man nodded slowly. "Land, power, glory," he murmured, as if tasting the words on his tongue. "These are indeed potent motivators. But tell me, is this battle bringing you closer to those things?"
Ow.
The leaders exchanged glances. They had to admit that their strategies thus far had not brought them any closer to victory. The old man continued, "There is another way, a better way. Why not lay down your arms and seek a peaceful resolution? Share the land, divide the spoils, and let the glory of your deeds resound through the ages, not through tales of bloodshed, but of unity and cooperation." His words hung in the air, challenging the very foundations of their conflicts. After a long silence, the leaders lowered their weapons. As the armies watched in stunned silence, the two leaders approached each other, extending hands in truce. The old man smiled, his eyes twinkling with approval, but his joy was short-lived. For the next few decades, the region experienced a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The former rivals became allies, working together to build schools, hospitals, and thriving communities. The old man, revered by all, continued to dispense his wisdom until his passing, leaving behind a legacy of harmony. News of this transformation reached the ears of the disguised king, and he returned to his kingdom filled with inspiration. Standing before his astonished court, he announced his decision to abandon the old ways of hoarding wealth and power. Instead, he declared, "From this day forward, our kingdom will be a beacon of justice and equality for all." He abolished unjust laws, distributed wealth fairly, and treated all his subjects with respect and kindness. His reign marked a new era of enlightenment and progress in the kingdom. People from far and wide came to witness this remarkable transformation, and the king's fame spread to distant lands. Soon word reached the neighboring kingdoms about the miraculous changes occurring in the once typical kingdom, curious and hopeful. The rulers of these lands set out to visit the legendary king and discover the secrets of his extraordinary transformation. As they entered the kingdom, they were greeted by lush fields, happy villagers, and thriving towns. Everything seemed to hum with prosperity and peace. Overwhelmed, the visitors approached the king, eager to learn his methods. The king, always humble and wise, shared his experiences, explaining how he had discarded the old ways of greed and war, embracing instead compassion and cooperation. He spoke of the old woman's wisdom and the lessons he learned from the warring factions, emphasizing the importance of understanding and unity. The visiting rulers were deeply moved by the king's story. They realized that true power lay not in amassing material wealth, but in uplifting their people and fostering peace. Inspired, they returned to their own kingdoms, carrying with them the torch of enlightenment. They began to implement similar reforms, sharing the wealth, promoting education, and treating their subjects with fairness and respect. And so, as years passed, the entire region was transformed. Kingdoms that were once rivals became allies and brothers. Trade flourished, cultures mingled, and the old ways of conflict and misery were forgotten. And all of this started with one king who dared to leave his comfort zone, listen to the advice of a mysterious old woman, and embrace the values of compassion and cooperation. His story became a legend, reminding future generations that true greatness lay not in material possessions or power, but in the positive impact one could have on the world. So, my friends, the true richness of life lies not in what we own, but in what we become. Let us all strive to be like the king, embracing the values of empathy, understanding, and unity to create a better world for ourselves and future generations. Thank you for listening. Do share your feedback in the comments and hit that subscribe button to never miss out on a new story.